like him?
I don't know. Strange. I don't know. Who is it?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
We were just chatting away here before returning to clarity. Thanks for being here with us. Let us know if you're having any trouble seeing us or hearing us. And please, if there's anybody that you feel could use some extra love and support right now and a safe space to just share who they are, be who they are, grow into who they are, then share this out with them, please. We would greatly appreciate that. And I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Laura Mazzotta. I am the Akashic Therapist, and I guide therapists, coaches, and healers who are experiencing any kind of chronic dis-ease. So this could be negativity, anger, illness, pain, etc. To ease energy and confidence in the space of the Akashic Records. And Raelin Saindon is a channel and mindset mentor. And I'm going to let her share about who she is while I share out this video.
That's what I was doing too.
Okay.
I didn't get to I got Lightworker live feeds.
Okay.
I didn't get to, what's that other Lightworker? I got Galactic.
I'll do Energy Medicine Exchange.
Perfect. There's another Lightworker one that we shared.
The World.
Yes, that's the one.
I'll share that one.
Okay, that sounds good, friend.
Okay.
Hey, you guys. So I am, let's see. I'm going to share this to my page too.
Okay.
There we go. So my name is Raelin Saindon. I am a spiritual guide. Gosh, I wear a lot of hats. Spiritual and healing guide. I work with Reiki, Quantum, Ho'oponopono, motion code, hypnotherapy, and I help people along their spiritual journey to awakening, deeper understanding, deeper awareness, deeper connection to their soulful self, and to the energy that is the energy that kind of that always runs underneath any circumstance that we find ourselves in, any interaction, anything that comes up in our life. There's always a deeper understanding and a deeper awareness of energy. And so I help people, to connect in with that and to live more empowered in that space. So
yay. Say hello if you're joining us, guys, because Be Live has been having some problems, and we are trying a different, connection through them or something today. And I want to make sure that we can see comments and if they're going to pop up on the screen or if I have to keep looking at my phone. So Hi, everybody. We are discussing the time-space continuum. Thank you, Georgette, because she brought this up right at the end of our show. Well, I guess it was on Saturday that we met last to talk about the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic.
Was it Georgette or was it Georgette or was it someone else?
I don't know. I could be wrong. Am I wrong?
Somebody did.
But anyway, they brought up this idea of the time-space continuum, and it was like right at the end. So Tammy says hello, but shocker, it's not showing up in the Be Live thing.
Yeah,
so
I don't see it.
I'm going to keep looking at my phone, so just forgive me if I keep looking to the side, people. I do love you. I am paying attention. And all of that stuff. So anyway, talking about this idea of the time-space continuum and wanting to know, hey, Shamika, thanks for being here. Wanting to know kind of how that works. And this is a really good time for us to explore this, guys, because the vast majority of us are quarantining ourselves and being quarantined. And so we have all of this time and space that you could say has been opened up to us. I feel like, I was just telling Raelin, I feel like I'm having the same conversation over and over and over and over and over again all day right now. My clients would be, because everybody's, I feel like people are on either end of the spectrum right now. Yeah. Okay. So we have the people who are, holy shit, I'm freaking out.
Right.
What do I do? Because there's so many people to serve and so much to give. And I'm working because of the state of financial things and all that other stuff. Right.
Hey, Jade, thanks for watching.
Jade, thanks for being here. All of these things, right? Yeah. And they're feeling chaotic because of that. And then there's the people who are feeling the same way, right? Their vibration is the same. They're feeling chaotic, but it's because they don't know what to do with this time and space. They don't know what to do with themselves, and they're feeling fairly helpless because these are the people that are typically those that have an agenda, that live a very structured life, that kind of know, consistently what to expect, and are very attached to the outcome.
Yes.
Right? So those are the two extremes that I'm seeing right now, but yet the vibe is the same. It's still this feeling of like chaos, desperation, restlessness, So it's beautiful. Is it your cat again? Is your cat acting up?
Okay, so you guys, you don't even know this. So before we started the show, sorry, I literally locked my bedroom door and my animals inside, and my cat unlocked the bedroom door and now has escaped with the dog and the other cat. Everybody is out here.
Yeah, sorry, but that's resourceful. I really celebrate them.
He unlocked it. How did he? Literally, I jiggled the handle and it was locked.
Cats don't have thumbs, Walker. So anyway.
Yeah.
Time, space, continuum.
Well, I think most people are in the space of doing rather than being, right? They're used to that go, 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 that hamster wheel, and that space of constantly having activity and outside external stuff to busy themselves, to distract themselves, to numb themselves. And now that, if you're quarantined or you're self-isolating, or, you live in certain areas where they're imposing that upon you, now everybody has these spaces where they're like you said, holy moments where they don't know what to do with themselves. And again, it's the doing rather than simply the being and the allowing and the unfolding of everything.
To do right now. And that is exactly why this time-space continuum discussion is, relevant right now in particular, is because, a lot of the times people will say, I don't have time to meditate, or I don't have time for self-care, or I don't have time for all of that. Well, guess what? You're being given the opportunity now, right? And we're not running against a clock right now. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people in the rat race and on the hamster wheel, is feeling like they have to reach a certain deadline, or they have to accomplish something by a certain time and date. And, those boundaries are getting muddied, right? Which is, as spiritual people, we know the boundaries are always kind of diffuse in that area, because time is something that is a construct created by humans.
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to describe that a little bit, Raelin?
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research. Okay. So first caveat is we are not quantum physicists here. We're not students of Einstein or anything like that. But we just have an energetic awareness. So the best way that I can describe to you, so in our human understanding, we believe time to be linear, right? We believe time to be, we all see the timelines in school that got broken up for history. Here's the starting point, right? And different hash marks, signify different points in history, right? That's how we understand time to be, is in a straight line. Time is not linear. That is, again, like you said, a construct of our mind to understand. This is a big concept. So when I did my research, I looked into time-space continuum. Of course, space relativity, which is Einstein's contribution. His teacher, Herman Manowski, I believe was his name. He is the one who actually solidified and formulated the idea that time and space occupy 4 dimensions and the same space together. And so for a visual, okay, I have a tissue in my hand right here, and I have one of my beautiful, lovely amethyst stones bringing love, peace, and healing to us. So if we could imagine that, and I'm trying to hold this as flat as I can, this is this represents our universe, our galaxy, okay, in space. Imagine it flat. When we add gravity to that, to space and to time, it creates like a little pocket. You see that it has kind of a bubble underneath here. That's what, when we understand and match up time and space together and the influence of gravity upon it, I'll hold it at a different way, folded it up. All right. It creates a little pocket. So our universe, if mapped out mathematically, is somewhat spherical, but it has this little pocket in it, and that's the impression that gravity makes upon it. Gravity pulls us, grounds us, centers us, keeps us from spinning out of control and off into, other galaxies and the nethers, right? Gravity impacts and affects time. It slows us down so that we perceive time on the scale that we do. We have the calendar, we have the 24 hours in a day, right? We have the 365 for a year, etc., and all of that. If we were to be released from gravity, we would be traveling the speed of light or faster, and time would slow down even more. So if we are, and here's where theory comes into play, if you travel the speed of light, you are moving with light, and anyone within our sphere of experience would be aging faster than you would be if you were traveling the speed of light. It's a little confusing because we hear the word speed of light. We feel like that goes faster, therefore we would age faster, right. But time would slow down even greater. Okay. So I think the context of the question then was how impacting, how does our healing and our understanding and our awakening in this moment impact and affect past events, our ancestors, others around us, et cetera, et cetera. So if you think of, here's the thing that quantum mechanics and quantum physics has discovered and has explained to us, is that time is actually like a spiral.
Exactly.
So there's multiple layers and simultaneous experiences going on at the same time. And you know what awareness came to me today? And I don't know if this is scientifically grounded, but spirit revealed to me. Think of how our DNA, you see the ladder of our DNA is twisted, right? And spherical on itself.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's kind of twisted on itself. Think of that as an analogy for what time is. Time is literally twisted upon itself. So anything that we do in this here and now, this lifetime, impacts and affects and can erase or
shift
things from the past. So I've spoken about it before. I have had situations within my own family and through therapy and these energetic practices and this healing journey that I've been on and been led to, it has impacted and healed a lot of those relationships. And I don't live near my family. Right. But as I've been healing and shifting, changing and growing, they have as well. That same energy connection is still there. And so whatever I'm doing impacts and influences them as it impacts and influences you. And as it's impacting and influencing those who are watching this today too.
Yeah, it's the same concept of, energy work, and that everything's always moving, right? And that as we shift, that we are a component of all of it. Like, for instance, I shared an example the other day of, I gave my client of mine a journal to get.
Mm-hmm.
She got the journal. She doesn't like to go online for her book shopping, so she went in person. While she was there, she found another journal that she really liked.
Mm-hmm.
She sent it over to me. She said, "This looks awesome. I loved it. I shared it online. I'm doing it in my Evolving Woman journal group," you know?
Yeah.
So being able to, just because she had an intention to heal,
yeah,
there's now thousands of people that are exposed to this resource that she uncovered because she had an intention to heal. So that whole idea of it's all along the same lines, you know, is that intention holds energy. That action that she took holds energy and has a ripple effect to thousands and thousands of people. So really being able to identify yourself as having this immense amount of power in the present moment. And that's why people say there is so much power in the present moment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because while we are here in this present moment, we can make shifts and changes that impact a quote unquote past life of mine that could be occurring at the same time right now.
Yep.
Because that, as Raelin was explaining, that helix, that time is twisted on itself. I could be existing right now here in this present moment in the 1800s, right? Back even further than that, and future versions of myself as well, right?
Yes.
And so all of that can exist because it's twisted onto each other. And so that's why the present moment is so powerful for all of us, because any changes and shifts that we make right now is affecting the entire helix, right? It's all moving together.
All moving together.
Let us know if you guys have questions about this, because it's a more complicated topic, definitely. And it's especially hard for humans to wrap their heads around, because it's a dynamic that we don't have a language for necessarily, because the language we use for it is time, right? That's the language that was created to define this whole concept and how it works. And so going outside of that rigidity and that way that we've been taught to think, it's very hard for us to comprehend. So feel free to let us know if you have questions or if this doesn't make any sense to you.
Well, and I think too, it points us back to the need to understand that we are spiritual, having a human existence.
Right.
And in our human existence, in our humanity, in our human awareness, until we connect in with our spiritual aspect of ourself, that overarching energy, and are truly connected in with that and fully engaged, it's difficult. We have human understanding, and to speak on and explain spiritual concepts and spiritual constructs.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they're not constructs. Spiritual realities. It's our human perception that's a construct, right? It gets difficult. It's like trying to explain what to a kid, or it's like trying to explain growing up to a baby. They have no context to put that in, right? So as we are awakening spiritually, and we awaken to and understand energy, we begin to interpret and understand from a level of higher knowing and higher conscious awareness.
Yeah, and that's where the trust comes in and the faith comes in.
Yeah. You had said something, gosh, and it triggered something, triggered a thought for me. So you were speaking about, intentionality and making decisions from that space. And this is where our thoughts become our reality comes into play. Now it's loading everybody's comments.
Going on Be Live. The comments load like a half an hour later.
Yeah.
So, but I'm watching them on my phone. So please let us know if you guys are here. Just pop a comment in there every once in a while if you don't mind. So you can just stay on top of the technological piece today.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, let us know.
Yes, absolutely.
So you were talking about intentionality and that creating our reality for us. When it's so important. Hey, Lori, good to see you.
Thanks for being here.
So important that we get this concept and that we understand it.
Yeah.
Because from the level of perception that we live, that is going to inform our life experience. And it will then inform our decision making, which also informs our behaviors and our attitudes and our beliefs. So if our level of perception right now is that life has become scary, life has become threatening, life has become terrifying or terrorizing or, isolating, okay, then our level of perception is going to continue to manifest and to generate more experiences of the same. And our interpretation of all of that is going to continue to build upon those ideas of and that viewpoint of fear and loss and terror and trauma and scare. If we look and shift our thinking in a moment and say, yeah, I'm home, but man, dude, I get to be in my safe space. I get to enjoy my home more. Wow, I didn't notice before just the need for clearing out my clutter, my closets. I'm going to do that now. I have the freedom to do that now. Or I didn't realize just how fun being around my kids this is. Or I get to go out and walk anytime I want to, out in nature, etc. When we shift our viewpoint, then life shifts, our reality shifts, and we see opportunity and life opening up for us.
Right. And that's what I was just going to say is that, and then as the space opens up, time opens up. Yes. It's unbelievable because every single time I've thought, I feel pressed. I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time to do that, or I'm rushing. The more that I actually slow down and go within, really, either I meditate, I access the Akashic records, I journal, I chant, I do what the things that I need to do to connect with myself. It's amazing how much time opens up. And people used to tell me that that's what would happen. But I was too caught up in, no, that doesn't make logical sense. That doesn't make logical sense. That doesn't, I don't have time for that.
Right.
But it's amazing how much when you give yourself time, how much space opens and how even more time opens.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because based on what you were just saying, I pulled a card yesterday morning from the Health and the Law of Attraction deck by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And so this morning I did the same thing. Shuffle my deck a few times. I pulled a card. Exact same card.
No way.
Exact same card.
What does it say again? I'm going
to read it. Yes. So it's exactly what you were just saying, basically, which is why I brought this up. I can visualize my body as I want it to be. We encourage a visualization of self as you are wanting to be, seeing yourself in that way, thereby attracting it. The ideas and events that will bring it about for you will come into your experience once you begin to see yourself that way.
Yeah.
When you feel fat, you cannot attract slender. When you feel poor, you cannot attract prosperity. That which you are, the state of being that you feel, is the basis from which you attract. This is why the better it gets, and the worse it gets, the worse it gets.
Yes.
And guess what the second card I pulled was from the Power of Surrender deck? What you just said, which is surrender to play.
Yeah.
Surrender to play. It's not just about self-care, guys, and taking the opportunity to get to know yourselves at a holistic level from all levels to find a balance with yourself, right? But it's also about finding joy and not just appreciation. It's a level beyond appreciation. It's finding joy in being more by yourself, or more isolated, or less involved in the go.
Yes. And in the presence.
Yes.
The present moment, because there's gifts there. That's why it's called the present. There's a gift there. right?
Yeah.
And we can build our present awareness. It's funny, I drew the money and law of attraction cards, but they're not always about money, but it's about economy. And I love that you and I are geeks about words and intentional choosing words. And sometimes you'll see me kind of pause while I'm talking, and I'm looking for and searching for an intentional word to communicate, because words have power, words have meaning, and that creates energy. And that's, again, a point of focus for us to build awareness upon, because then that informs our reality, right? And so when we say things like, I don't have time, or I can't afford to take time to do that, or I can't afford to whatever, then you're not going to be able to afford anything. And like you said, time, then if you say I don't have time or I can't take time, time becomes very compressed and very stressed. And then you invite traffic into your day, or you invite mindless activity in getting ready. And so you leave your keys, or you can't find them, or whatever. And pretty soon your reality is that time is going on you, and you're in a hurry all the time.
I want to really challenge all of you right now. I want anybody who's watching, either live or on the replay, to place in the comments. And the reason I want you to write it down is because I want you to put this into reality and hold yourself accountable. Okay. To let us know what you are going to choose to do that you have said you have not had time for sometime over the past 6 months. That now is an opportunity to prioritize that. So let us know, what are you going to choose? Is it going to be meditation? Is it going to be playing the piano? Is it going to be running? Is it going to be reading a book? Is it going to be taking baths? Something that somebody has suggested to you, or that you have thought of yourself over the past handful of months, that you have said, oh, interesting, or immediately dismissed as, no, I don't have time for that. Okay. Right. And set an intention, because we just talked about intention and how critical that is, and how much that can shift not just you, but previous versions of you and future versions of you and others as well. Yeah. Place an intention on, what am I going to commit to? Because it takes 21 days to make a habit. So what better time to create a habit right now? Yeah. Okay. And that habit can be 60 seconds a day. I don't care what it looks like, right? But it's putting into reality those things that pop up for us that we easily dismiss when we are focused on other things, or saying that we don't have time, right? It's an excuse, and it's not reality. Okay. Yeah.
It's a big excuse.
Yeah. So I don't see any comments in the comment bar yet, my friends. Let's go.
I don't yet either.
What are you going to commit to? Let us know. Go ahead, Raelin. You want to keep talking?
Yeah. Here's what came forward when you were talking about that. When you were speaking on that. And it's, again, from Money and the Law of Attraction. I can't tell stories of shortage and experience abundance. I
love that.
Yeah. I can't tell stories of shortage and experience abundance at the same time, right? She says, continuing to tell stories of shortage only continues to contradict your desire for abundance. And you cannot have it both ways. You cannot focus upon unwanted and yet receive wanted. You cannot focus upon stories about money or time or energy that make you feel uncomfortable, and then allow into your experience what makes you feel comfortable. A different story will bring different results. And here's an affirmation. My thoughts are the basis for the attraction of all things that I consider to be good, which includes enough money, time, and health for my comfort and my joy. And then the second card that came up was, and we've had this before, I can transform my own world. again, make lists of positive aspects, make lists of things you love, and refuse to complain about anything. And as you use those things that shine brightly and make you feel good as your excuse to give attention, attention is currency, just like money is, just like time is, right? It's currency, okay? Paying attention. We say paying attention. We're paying it, right? We're exchanging energy. We're exchanging currency with our attention. So making you feel good as your excuse to give your attention and be who you are, you will tune in to who you are, and the whole world will begin to transform before your eyes. Here's the affirmation. It is not your job to transform the world for others, but it is your job to transform it for you. A state of appreciation is pure connection to source when there is no perception of lack. And like we've said, we've touched on it. As we begin to focus on ourselves, right? And transform world for ourselves, transform our reality, transform our thinking. Again, think healing. As we begin to do that ourselves, it changes it for everyone else around us, which changes our past and our future as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is quite timely, given that you and I just had a conversation before we started this broadcast about the fact that I am working crazy hours right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are feeling unstable. A lot of people are having a lot of anxiety and feeling like they need extra support. So I'm just working to the bone.
Yeah.
And, you know,
working to the bone.
Working
to hear that.
Bone.
To the bone.
Yeah, that raw. So really, and what I just said to Raelin was literally over the past like 48 hours, I felt like, okay, I need to I haven't been as connected to source. I haven't been doing my, my things that I do to keep me aligned. And I'm like, after this show, that's what I'm doing, and I have the whole night to do it. So that's good. I give myself space to do that and time to do that. But, being able to realize that we don't need to work overtime to save and transform people, that I'm more effective being able to take that time to tune into the records, to meditate, to whatever. When that, I was like, oh, okay, that's timely. Yeah. And so, and people are presenting on this continuum right now. You have people who are working themselves to the bone and feeling like, ugh, I can't. And then the people who are like, I'm sitting here with myself twiddling my thumbs. What do I do? But they're both feeling chaotic and desperate.
Well, and, we talked about this too, especially with us being in this space and showing up as we do, being healers, being light workers, light bearers, way showers. There is now, and we're feeling the calling to rise and to emerge and to really get this message out there of love and peace and calm and serenity and understanding, an energetic connection of knowing that this is all transforming us and happening for our highest and best. And what I said to you the other day was, and gave me this message too, because I feel that strongly too. I'm like, gosh, I have to be on. I have to be on. I have to be on. Is what's neat is, if I'm not on a live, I watch and my news feed pops up all of these other people, light workers, up on their lives. And I'm like, yes, thank you. So I have chills right now. I envision all of us standing collectively together. And when one has shared the message and needs recharging and energizing, they step back or they sit down and another rises to take that place and hold that space. And then when they, need that help and assistance and support, then another rises. And it's just a constant stream of all of us kind of rising right? And allowing the other to rest.
So yeah, and what I want to bring up about that too is this idea of people being really worried that they're going to lose their jobs, that they're not going to have money,
Right.
you know, and that's a very real concern. And you know, having the perspective of, you know, knowing that this is changing us globally in a way that we need to trust is a shift that's toward the greater good, right? And toward our interest collectively as a planet. And as souls, right? So while we maintain that doesn't mean that we dismiss or deny the discomfort and the fears that somebody is going through in time. Okay.
Right.
So what I would encourage you is exactly what Raelin was just saying, which is that we're all in this together, right? So one person rises, the other person, you know, we kind of go like this right now to help each other out so we can get through it. So, you know, it's being able to be in a space of receiving, okay, from the universe. And whether that has to do with money or love or somebody saving your ass with bringing you groceries or whatever it happens to be, that you place yourself in a receptive position because being able to say, well, I'm afraid of losing my job or I'm afraid of where I'm going to be financially is, yes, it's a fear. But if you view it as we're all in this together, then you are asking for that help, or you're allowing yourself to receive and say, this is a time that we all need to take responsibility. We all need to do our part energetically and contribute energetically so that we can lift each other up. And it's that trust that, you know what, we are all, if you lose your job, then guess what? Somebody else over here is making more money because they're in the medical field doing X, Y, and Z or whatever, you know?
And they're helping.
Helping each other right now. And the more of us that have that mentality, the better we're going to be in terms of getting through this crisis, you know?
Look what just came forward.
What does it say?
I can earn money by doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I love that.
And she's holding the area where the source of money and creativity and sense of personal power emanates from, right?
Yeah.
As you practice more positive, better feeling story, in time, your pleasure will become the dominant vibration within you. And then as you couple your pleasure with your means of earning, the two will blend perfectly and enhance each other. There is no better way to earn money than to do the things you love to do. Money can flow into your experience through endless avenues. That's the key. And it's not always going to show up in ways that we're used to seeing. Okay? So if we change our point of view and our perspective and our perception of it, we'll see where money is flowing. It's a constant stream.
Well, and that's go ahead.
Sorry, it's not the choice of the craft that limits the money that flows, but your attitude toward money. Yeah.
It's so consistent with the messages that have been coming through the records about sacred ritual and being able to, you know, okay, so I might have had an agenda that things were going to turn out this way or that this was going to be the outcome, right? It's not so concrete right now. And there's a level of unknown. So being able to return to something like sacred ritual is giving you something tangible, right? That you are going through for yourself or with yourself. And it could literally be as simple as having a cup of tea, you know, but creating a ritual for yourself that you can rely on and that you can hold on to that connects you to that stability and that version of who you are that when you spend time with it is enhancing the value of what everybody is receiving around us energetically and calling the abundance in, the abundance of love, safety, security, what have you.
You know, for so many too, within certain industries that have been impacted more acutely right now than others, those individuals will likely, and this is what, you know, these life events offer to us, is they disperse us in other areas. And this is an opportunity, and we're being called from this card to see this could be an opportunity for many of you to pursue more of what aligns with you in spaces of joy and brings you pleasure and bliss, and earning from that, you know, and then it's not so much work. It's your act of service and way of showing up for the rest of the world that brings you pleasure and bliss, right? And connects in. And then it's not so much a job where you have to, or a grind. It's full flow and alignment with that.
Well, and this also speaks to those people who are feeling right now like, I love this. Like, I love being home. I love not having to run in the rat race, you know, and I'm feeling comfortable. I'm feeling cozy with my family. I'm feeling like I have money. I have food. I have heat. I have shelter.
Yes.
All of that. And some of those people, I know a lot of those people right now are feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Because there's other people that are suffering. But being able to realize that your abundance in whatever form is fueling those who feel they have less or who are less open to receive it. So if you are in that space and you're, you know, choose to occupy it in its fullness and have that collective mentality and that intention of, you know, being a piece of the puzzle, right? And being a piece of the whole. And then you can stand solidly in knowing that by you being in that abundant space and that relaxed space, you are giving, you're empowering others, you know? And so, hi, Linda, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Linda.
You know, that so that's a gift. And I don't want people to feel like they need to shy back and say, oh, I don't want to say that I'm like really happy right now, because then people are going to feel slighted or people are.
Oh gosh, right? You know? Let's encourage that, because the more that we are in that state of happiness and contentment and peace and calm, we spread that. You know, when I have had occasion to go out and talk with other people, we've had moments of great, you know, of laughter and enjoying each other's present, and, you know, it doesn't feel rushed, and the experiences are amazing. And the more that we can hold that space with ourselves and with others, then we impact the level of, you know, the contrast that's going on, and it calms and alleviates and brings that down. So absolutely, I agree. Anything we can do to continue to raise energy and uplift. Absolutely.
And to be in a space, right? To be in like you holding space for other people who don't feel like they have that space or don't know how to find it, you know? And that's that concept of space, you know, that we've been talking about, is that it will expand as we continue to hold it at a higher vibration for other people.
Yeah.
So stand in that. And I say this too, guys, because I've been there too, like in moments during this where I'm like, oh, I'm feeling really like pretty zen, you know? And, you know, I'm feeling like pretty cozy with my family and pretty happy, and, you know, and seeing all these things that are going on in Italy and feeling horrible, like coming to tears with what's going on for some of these people, but that it's not productive for anyone on this globe for me to sit in fear or for me to sit in guilt or upset, because that's a low vibration, you know, it's a low vibration, and it only knocks one more person down. So then I'm more, you know, I'm less resilient.
Yeah.
Right? And that, go ahead.
It's beautiful watching the stories, you know, seeing the stories, watching the people in Italy singing to each other from their balconies. There was a gentleman out in his courtyard, in among this housing area where he lived, leading calisthenics for everybody in their home, you know, and there's more and more of those moments. We're hearing and seeing that in the canals in Venice, the dolphins have returned and fish have returned, and the water is crystal clear. You know, they've had so much flooding and rain prior to all of this. Well, all of these natural events, we even understand fire, wildfires and all of that in Australia has cleaned and cleared dead brush, and it has to come through and wipe that out, because it creates new life. And this is where we get into that circle of creation and destruction. And it's destruction is not bad. It's How are we labeling it? That process has to happen in order to bring about new growth and amazing new opportunities. What's going on in our world, and especially in our country, is dismantling the old, outdated patterns of economy and of service to other people, and the lack of service to other people. And it's bringing out the best in people. I mean, restaurants are giving away their food to those who need it. Schools are banding together and still providing free food for, the school children. I mean, they're talking about utility companies are suspending payments for people, housing companies and mortgage companies are now refusing to evict. There's commercial property owners who are telling their tenants to don't worry about, rent for the next month or two. We're in this together, because they understand if they're demanding something that someone doesn't have, they're not going to receive it either. And if we're kicking people out and following through with all of these destructive things, then we're going to have mass hysteria. So it's bringing people into calmer, cooler, collected heads,
Right. Well, and you were talking about growth, and that's been one of the themes that has come up also in my work with my clients. Is this week, which is, what it's doing is it's encouraging us to be creative, because we're put in this position where we feel like, okay, I'm trapped or I'm stuck, or, I don't have access to the things that I usually do. So that doesn't mean I can't have those things.
Right.
Doesn't mean I can't feel the safety and security, but I need to get creative about different ways to do it, or different ways find it or create it for myself, either within or in my own life. And to realize that creative energy that we're being called to use is really, it's the source of creation, right? It's very powerful. It's very passionate. It's very motivating. It's very driven. And so, I think that we can find a lot of momentum in that space if we choose to access it, rather than getting paralyzed, which is what a lot of my clients are doing, getting paralyzed and being like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, and I'm freaking out, and blah, 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 and being able to say, okay, take a pause. You have the ability to pause.
Yes.
And just think for a minute, just get creative. You have those ideas within you. You have the resources available to you. And that's only going to expand our intuition, our self-trust, our decisiveness, our level of judgment and forward direction in our own lives. So it benefits us at so many levels to be able to do that. It's not just to get through this crisis, but it helps us grow just by thinking outside the box.
And our connection with ourselves too, right? And with others. Here's another card that came up. My life story and the law of attraction. Each and every component that makes up your life experience is drawn to you by the powerful law of attraction's response to the thoughts you think and the story that you tell about your life. Remember, the thoughts we think we attach to, and then we create a story around it. We cocoon ourselves with the excuses and the limitations and the, I can't. Well, your money, financial assets, your body's state of wellness, your clarity, your flexibility, your size and shape, your work environment, how you are treated and how you treat others, work satisfaction, rewards, indeed the very happiness of your life experience in general is all happening because of the story that you tell.
Yeah.
So if we want a new story, we have the power within us to write and create a new story of our lives. And I truly believe that we are being given this opportunity, among many other opportunities, at this time now to create, to connect in, to see what's not been working for a very long time because we've been so busy doing.
Yeah.
We haven't been being.
Yeah, and if you want to get an idea, listen, but if you want to write your story, a narrative work is really powerful. It really is, because you're
Yeah.
interacting with your story. You know, you're
Yeah.
creating a reality, but you're interacting with it. You're also showing yourself that you are the author. You know, so
Yeah.
you're taking a level of authority in that. And that's why we've been doing the Love Yourself, Heal Your Life workbook and Room for Healing, which is my free Facebook group, because this is a good way to start. If you need prompts or if you need a place to begin, there are prompts here that tell you to write your story, but they're also, you know, really identifying a context for where your belief systems have come from, where your perceptions and interpretations have come from, and what are the new beliefs that I want to instill. You know, what are those that I want to create and implement, and it guides you to do that. And yeah, I think that's productive for everyone. I would just encourage you that if you are having or if you've had trauma in your life, that you make sure you're in a place of being able to manage, having enough tools and resources or supports in place so that whatever comes up for you is not something that's going to really make you feel like you can't function. You know, that's the only caution that I would say. And again, there's a lot of power in trauma work through using narratives and using a different script and rewriting the script. But you also want to make sure that you're held in a safe space. Yes. And you're doing that.
That's one of the reasons why, you know, I designed my inner child curiosity cards. They give journaling prompts. I have them over on the table across from me. I don't have one to show you right now, but they're journaling prompts that connect you in with your inner child. And they were born out of my own lived experience with trauma and neglect and stuff from my childhood and on into my adulthood world too. And it wasn't until I took a look at all of that and began to see the patterns and why it was showing up for me that I began to rewrite and change my story. And now I'm here doing what I do. You have your wonderful group, Room for Healing, and in my group, Connected Empowerment, we've been doing a meditation mindfulness experience the last several days. And you know, we have live opportunities. I've shared a lot of guided meditations. I shared one this morning, some mindfulness exercises, some standing meditation, you know, just some great tools and resources. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to be able to offer that and serve in that way, but also for watching how it has impacted others who are there in the group and receiving that, you know, and for some, it's the first time.
Yes, no, and I think this is a time when people are looking for some of, you know, security, safety, being held, comforted, nurtured. So you didn't have your inner child deck, but I had it right next to me. So
thank you.
I pulled a card for us, and this is right in line with the surrender, the power of surrender card that I pulled right before we started. And it's my child self is most joyful when I.
Wow.
My child self is most joyful when I.
I'll type that in.
My child self is most joyful when I.
Wow.
And then I pulled a card from the Starseed deck, because this is really, you know, Starseed is really those people who came to this earth to shine their light and to be able to share some of the spiritual wisdom, insight, perspective with other people, so that we can be reminded of the frequency of love, of staying connected, of the fact that we are all in service of each other. Okay. So this is from the Starseed Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. And this is a beautiful card. It's the courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen.
Oh.
So it's a beautiful card, and I'll read you what the book says about this, and then we can talk about it. This book is not organized in any way. That's the only complaint that I have about it, is that you literally have to just search through the entire thing to find the page. Oh, there it is. Okay. So flowers don't open and close according to who walks by. They embrace all of what they are and show it to the world around them. The peony doesn't try to compete with the cherry blossom. And the cherry blossom doesn't try to compete with the tulip. They own what they are and trust the timing of their true nature. You're called to do the same. It's time to open yourself up to being seen. Time to share your incredible, multifaceted true nature with the world around you. To uncover and reveal your soul's greatest gifts without wavering and own your uniqueness without apology. I know, I'm going.
Man, I have chills.
I know. There's a flower on this planet that holds the same qualities that your soul is readying itself to express. Let it inform you. You may have been taught that it's safer to keep your light hidden and your voice small, to hide behind the bushes instead of growing tall. The courageous peony is here to remind you that it's safe to embody all of who you truly are. Share your voice and let yourself be seen. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, and you may be afraid of what others think, but with each passing day, it does become easier. Little by little, you realize that it draws in those who are meant for you, and experiences you've been longing for arrive at your feet. So the question is, how are you being called to allow yourself to be more visible and seen in the world?
So, wow, love it. Fearless Spirit Oracle cards and the Own Your Power cards were showing up while you were talking. That message is such a powerful message, and we need to be reminded of that constantly. I am not you. You are not me. We're not meant to be each other. We're not meant to shine as each other does. You shine as you do, and it's blessed, and it's radiant, and it's lovely, and it's wonderful. And I shine as I do, and it's blessed and radiant and lovely and wonderful. Stars don't get mad at each other for shining.
Right. Exactly, like competing against who's shining more brightly. And, it's the same thing. It's like, I could say, poor me, why do I have a chronic illness? Poor me, why am I struggling with this? Why do I have to do infusions each week? Other people don't have to do this, but instead I embrace the uniqueness that is me and know that there's a reason that I got the flu and one of my kids didn't get the flu. Right. There's a reason why somebody gets coronavirus and I don't get coronavirus or vice versa. And it's not for me to decide. And that's where the surrendering comes in and the full trust, and that we're really being called to faith right now, and faith in the universe because, there's divine intelligence that is orchestrating this.
100%.
Yeah.
So I am fearlessly patient with myself and others today.
Yeah, and that's the problem, Raelin, is that a lot of people right now do not have enough patience with themselves to sit with themselves and a lot of this comes to that money energy that you were talking about with pulling the money cards, that idea of deserving, right? Not
entitled.
Receive abundance, and feeling because I don't feel deserving of it at some level, so go. What's your next one? I choose
fearless today. This one, this is a message you shared earlier. I am learning to allow and receive fearlessly. Mm-hmm. And for so many of us, that is a fear, right? We much rather be in power, seats of control, and doling it out and giving it, because let's get honest and real for a second. When we are giving, we feel as though we're on a higher level than someone else who is needing to receive, right? Don't we? If we're honest with ourselves in our human experience, it feels a little like we're like this kind of relationship. We're up here, we're giving down, right? And this is somebody in need. But when it's reversed, what we need to remember is we're all here, right? And we're just exchanging. So the next card, the power card, it is my power to expand in beautiful ways.
And what I just put in the comments, stepping into your own authority, owning and claiming your power, and owning and claiming that, your power over your vibe. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm going to go be authority with my kids and with my job or anything like that. I mean, you can do that and take that role as necessary, but really stepping taking an authority for how I feel. And if I feel afraid and freaked out and desperate and lonely and guilty, then, you know, I need to put on my big girl pants or big boy pants and decide, you know, I'm an authority of my own experience.
Yes.
Of my own thoughts, of my own feelings, of my own energy.
Yes. This one, look at this one. It is my power to feel healthy inside and out.
Yes.
You were just talking about the gift that your health has been.
Yeah.
And however it shows up for us, it is all a gift. And if we will transform our thinking about how events are showing up for us, or people show up for us, or circumstances show up for us, then we exude that powerful expansion, that powerful, we allow and receive freelessly. We are, or fearlessly. We are fearless. We're patient with ourselves and others.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go
Jeannie
ahead.
wrote, and it's not popping up, of course, because Be Live is special. But Jeannie says, I got all these problems because my creator is creating a badass in me. Yes. And what's so funny is that she literally posted that at the exact time that I posted Step Into Your Own Authority. So Jeannie, you and I were definitely aligned there in terms of what was coming through and like what we were feeling. You know, pat your intuition on the back there, because I mean, that's the same message coming through, which is really, you know, like I got all this stuff going on, but you know what? I'm just, obviously I'm going to celebrate the fact that my creator thinks that I can handle this, right?
Yeah.
I have tools and resources to withstand this in my human form, or go beyond, rise above. And the fact that you're even watching this right now, Jeannie, you know, and I know what you struggle with as well. And the fact that you're able to watch this and be able to put yourself in that space in your mind, or energetically or emotionally, is impressive. And you need to honor yourself. And like Raelin was saying, be patient with yourself during those times or moments where you're like, oh gosh, I'm so sick of this. You know, I'm fearlessly patient with myself and others today. You know, and an authority for that. I choose to be patient with myself.
So. I love it. I love it. It's all about the perceptive viewpoint that we hold in the moments that we find ourselves in. And it really is when we attach to a thought and we create a story around it, that's where we create our own suffering.
Yeah.
Before we went live, I heard from a girlfriend, you know her, and she had shared a post that I had shared with her probably nearly 8 years ago. And she had shared, you know, if only I had listened then, I would have saved myself a lot of trouble and heartache. And so my encouragement to her, and my encouragement to all of us then, because you and I, both of us, we've talked, you know, offline and online, I have had to do this work for myself.
Yeah.
Whatever is coming to us is for us. And so the length of time that it takes us to become aware, or to understand, or to awaken, or, you know, whatever that is the exact amount of time that we needed in order to have all of those experiences that were building blocks upon that foundation that we now stand upon.
Yeah.
There is nothing that we could have bypassed, gotten around, dug under. We were not ready until we were ready.
Yeah. And are you peeps ready to surrender that timing to the universe? Ready for that? Yeah. You know, because that's what we're being asked to do right now. You know, this is orchestrated, like I said, and it's in our highest good. And yes, I understand that means that people are going to suffer and get frustrated. And I don't celebrate my own history of trauma necessarily.
No.
I mean, it's not something I would necessarily choose to have anybody go through, but at the same time, I honor it and I appreciate it. because
Right.
I wouldn't be here right now doing what I'm
Right.
doing without
Same.
that experience. And what's so funny is that, and I've been saying this lately too, like just recently, there, with how much chaos and like extremes of desperation, et cetera, are occurring, there's also, I have been able to reach levels of peace within these
Yes.
records and meditation that I have never
Mhm.
experienced. And yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing this on a regular basis and I'm doing this professionally and all of that. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you that the energy has, it's like I can literally like grab it and feel it with my hands. It's that palpable.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and so we're being called to explore that, and to really go into that and appreciate it.
Yep. And I love that you reminded us too, that this is opportunity for us to take a look at those things that we were excusing away, that we said that we weren't making time for. It's not that you didn't have time for it, you weren't making the time for it. You
Wow.
weren't intentionally setting aside that time. Now you have nothing but that.
Yes.
So let's take advantage and use the opportunities now in a way that's beneficial toward us and that holds us and communicates to us that we are important. Our energy is important. Our healing is important. Our
So
understanding is important, right?
that's what I was just going to say, is you made me think of this meme that I shared, and I do not remember the author of it, but if you go to my Emerge Healing and Wellness on Instagram and find it, you'll know who I'm giving credit to. But anyway, it said, I don't have enough time, and it was crossed out, and underneath it said, I don't have clear priorities.
Yes.
That's what it's
Love
beautiful, because it offers us that opportunity to say,
right.
To not only prioritize what's in our existence, but to evaluate what is on that list.
Yeah.
And to evaluate whether we need to add things, or whether things really are still priorities, or whether those are shoulds
Right.
or obligations or what have you.
Right.
And when we do that, we open up time and we open up space for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And even the things that we want to label as shoulds or have tos, really evaluate that. And I think you'll find there's an awful lot of those in that category that really are not shoulds or have tos.
Yeah, consider right now, are you thriving?
Right.
If you're partially thriving, what are the things that are going right, despite the fact that you're quarantined, or despite the fact that you have certain limitations right now?
Right.
Are you still functioning?
Yes.
What are those things that you still have,
Right.
the faculties about you that are still intact,
Right.
to remind you that some of those things were unnecessary, right? It allows you to evaluate that.
I had to go to the store the other day and just run and get a few things. And I was laughing and kind of started going, people are losing their minds. They've gone crazy because, shelves, are empty and the weirdest stuff is gone. And so then I could feel myself, I could feel that irritation rising within me, and spirit brought my notice to that. And I immediately was drawn into gratitude. I looked at my cart. I looked around me at the people shopping. I brought myself into that present moment. And I said, I'm so grateful that I'm here on a beautiful day with all of these individuals, and I can calmly, find what I need and add to my cart. And I have everything that I need, and I'm being eternally provided for. And once I started in that gratitude, it just kept rolling and rolling. And pretty soon my energy completely shifted. And, people, we were smiling at each other and chuckling, with each other and saying hello and enjoying, those moments. And I left the store really having learned a lot more about myself and about how quickly we can drop into, but how amazingly expansive we become when we allow ourselves to rise up into gratitude, and how things shift so fast. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do want more information on, the energetics of this pandemic that's going on right now. Raelin and I did a video on Saturday that is posted on Emerge Healing and Wellness. It's on the Healing Space, which is Raelin's business page. It's on my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to get it over to her and she'll put it on hers. So if you're interested in that discussion, we offered healing during that video, and it was really powerful and really connecting. And I would just encourage you to check it out if you haven't already, just so that you can, feel into some of that collective energy and that feeling of that we're in this together. And and we're going to be going live on a weekly basis. So let us know if there's topics that you feel really called to learning more about, or otherwise Raelin and I are going to go on our random tangents that we typically do. Although I think we stayed fairly well centered today, I have to say.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
But anyway, so Raelin, can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Sure. So you can find me on my personal page, Raelin Saindon. I have a business page called The Healing Space. And I will put the link in the comments after we end. And then I also have a free group called Connected Empowerment. I'll put that link there too. And I run a journaling group. It's become a book discussion, but it's really a community, a sisterhood. And, Laura's in there with me, as well as other beautiful souls. And right now we're going through the book, Deepak Chopra's Metahuman. So we're talking a lot about living above the state of what we have always known to be human.
Yes.
And living above that. And we're like this conversation, talking about rising above our circumstances, rising above our human emotions and feelings and thoughts and behaviors, and understanding that there's so much more out there to everything, right? So we meet on Sundays to do that. So it's a great way to connect and join in and receive community and sisterhood and connection. We need that, especially right now.
Yeah, that's why we've created our Facebook groups too, is just so that people have that space where they can, kind of be aligned with like-minded people, not just in the sea of everything out there on social media. My free Facebook group is called Room for Healing. And if you're not part of that, I would be happy to have you. You can just send a request in, and that's where I post the majority of my content. And we're doing a Mindful March challenge right now. We did a meditation challenge. And so, we're just encouraging each other and holding each other accountable at the same time, sharing openly and honestly. And I also, if you want to find me, you can find me at theakashictherapist.com. I have a course that's starting on April 2nd that does have a lot to do with, with this whole space-time continuum concept that we were just talking about earlier in the show, of past lives, ancestral healing and clearing, future lives, really getting in touch with the core authentic version of who we are and clearing away the stuff that doesn't necessarily, that we can cherry pick, right? We can decide what we want to take forward with us. And, it's really being called to sacred ritual to do this, to honor ourselves and appreciate our journeys from past lives to future, to appreciate our ancestors and what we've taken from that, and brought into who we are. And so that we can really be this whole expression of ourselves. So today is actually the last day for an enormous amount of bonuses, which primarily involves one-on-one time with me. So definitely check that out and reach out if you have any questions. And for any of you who have questions about this topic or needing extra support right now, Raelin and I are both available. You're welcome to message us privately, to make comments on this video, and we're happy to get back to you. If one of us doesn't, the other one will. Like we said, we're all helping each other right now.
Right.
So, definitely don't hesitate to connect, because that's what we're being called to do, is to really take that initiative. So thank you guys for joining us. We're really happy to have you here. Yes. And we will chat with you next week. So feel free to let us know if there's anything in particular that's weighing on your minds and hearts. Okay?
See you guys then.
Have a good week, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.